Hello, this is JC Santana coming to you from the Institute of Human Performance here in sunny South Florida, Boca Raton. I want to talk to you about one of my favorite exercises. I actually learned this exercise from Gary Gray, and it's the posterior reach. It's probably one of the most functional exercises for the abdominals. All right, understanding that the abdominals don't work laying down, doing a crunch or a sit-up. They're great exercises, but that usually is not the way the abdominals work, especially when you're running or serving or throwing overhead. Crunch and sit-ups are great for judo players, jiu-jitsu players, and people who work from their back. Or if you want to develop a hypertrophy of the abdominals, great. But if you really want them to do what they do when you're standing up, running, or throwing, this is the best progression. Posterior reaches, meaning posterior back reaching overhead. The original progression was like this, understanding that you're not going to extend the abdominals, that hurts the lower back. You want to open up your hips and treat your body like a bow. So if this is a bow, how do you launch an arrow that way? You bend the bow backwards over the entire, especially here in the middle, okay, is where the stress is. So this was the beginning. Of course, small lever arm, longer lever arm, and big lever arm. You want to use a little bit of knee, a lot of the hip, okay, keep the core pretty stiff. Little bit of extension is fine, but not much more than that. If you're feeling pressure in your lower back, you're doing it wrong. Okay, so tight, brace, open up the hips, and there you have it. This is serving, throwing. Of course, the staggered stance allows a lot more stretch to go to one side, the side of the trailing leg. One of the best ways to do this without really reaching back, it seems that this here gives people problems. One of the best ways is to use a step, okay? And when you bring the leg up, it takes your pelvis and points it back. When your pelvic tilts backwards, see it as a bucket. If it's pouring the water backward, it's a posterior tilt. This leg up, the higher the step, the more the posterior tilt. The more the posterior tilt, the more this hip opens. So it's a cheat to open the hip without extending the spine. So this one here, if you're in here, look, all you have to do is just this, and you get the same as this, okay? So this is a great, great modification that you can just teach. You just bring the knee forward, put your hand in and say, bring the knee forward. If they're bringing the knee, they gotta bring the hip. The foot is flat on the rear, foot facing forward. Okay, you want to add a little oomph to it, then the hands stay here. They don't go back. But your hip translates forward by bringing forward that front knee. So it does this. See? I don't reach back. I just keep my hands here, keep my shoulders here, and drive my hip forward. And that is the series of posterior reaches, all right, that you can do to teach the body how to load like a bow forward, and that's done during running. See? There's your bow. Serving, there's your bow. And throwing, there's your bow. So when training the front bow, the posterior reach is the most functional exercise you're going to find for your abdominals. This is JC Santana coming to you from IHP. If you want to learn more about these exercises and any other exercises that we know a lot about, come to www.ihpfit.com or visit us here at one of our mentorships or certifications. We'll see you in sunny South Florida.